Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to look at Iraq in the 20th century. We'll start with the British Mandate and Monarchy from 1920 to 1932. After World War I, the Ottoman provinces of Baghdad, Busra, and Massaw became the British Mandate of Mesopotamia. The region was highly diverse, containing many different ethnic and religious groups, but the British, along with the help of the League of Nations, decided to unite these regions into one country. This opened a new chapter in Iraqi history, one filled with chaos, civil war, and rebuilding. But the legacy of 20th century Iraq is still felt today, and they also decided who would rule this new country. They chose Faisal I, a Hashemite prince who had spent some time fighting alongside the British during the war. And so in 1921 Faisal I was crowned king of Iraq, though really it was the British who held most of the power. They helped draft the constitution, which gave themselves the right to veto any law they didn't like. But by 1932, the British felt that they had done enough to turn Iraq into a modern state, and so they granted it formal independence, and Iraq joined the League of Nations. But now, onto instability and the fall of the monarchy. From the beginning, ethnic and sectarian tensions simmered just below the surface. But it was in 1968 that the Ba'ath Party, a pan-Arab socialist political party, seized power. The party was eventually led by Saddam Hussein. Now, under the Ba'ath Party, Iraq experienced rapid modernization, but it was also a brutal dictatorship. There was a secret police state, the Mukhabarat, and anyone who dissented against the government was tortured and killed. In the early 1980s, Saddam Hussein went to war with Iran. The war lasted for 8 years and cost millions of lives. It drained Iraq's resources and devastated its economy. But Saddam needed a distraction from his failing economy, and he found one in Kuwait. In 1990, he invaded the country. But 2 weeks later, the UN coalition led the US military, intervened and kicked Iraq out of Kuwait. This was the Gulf War, and in the 1990s, economic sanctions devastated Iraqi society. By the year 2000, half of all Iraqi families lived below the poverty line. There were the Kurds in the north, the Shiites in the south, and the Sunni Arabs in the middle. But it wasn't until after the monarchy fell that these tensions boiled over into civil war. In 1958, military coup, led by Abdul Karim Qasim, a brigadier general, overthrew the monarchy, ending 35 years of Hashemite rule. The royal family was executed and Iraq became a republic. Then in the 1960s, there were 2 more coups and 3 presidents in under a decade. And that brings us to the end of the 20th century and the beginning of the 21st century, when a US-led invasion overthrew Saddam Hussein's regime and ended his brutal dictatorship. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.